Hey guys, welcome to Curator Cast. Benro has released a beautiful product, and why I have all these lying around, well, each of the product lying on this table will make sense pretty soon. Now this is a pretty exciting device and a pretty big launch, or I should say the thing which is about to launch, but I would tone down my excitement because it's around 1 in the night, so 1 a.m. in the night and people are sleeping. 2021, or I should say amidst lockdown, we have started to see products that have attained a level of perfection. Products which we can rely on and we can say jack of all trades, but also master of many. So this is how I define Benro Polaris. It is an static, non-stabilizing child of a gimbal which married the ball head, but is an hyper-intelligent one. Okay, this might make more sense when I go through the products. A week ago it was Sony Alpha 1. Considering I'm into Sony system, I keep a note on what they are releasing, and now it's time of Benro Polaris. Now what is this product? You will get to understand all of it in this complete video, and right straight away I will say that this is available on Kickstarter as a new product, as a new concept which has been developed, and it has been just more than around 12 hours, so it's around 15 to 20 hours, and I'm making this video, and I have also backed this. This is the first product which I have backed on a Kickstarter. Now before I go deep dive into the specs, let me tell you some facts. So it has launched itself on a Kickstarter, meaning you can back the product, and if it reaches a certain threshold amount which it backs for, which it agrees, it will launch that product and give you, basically deliver you at your locations anywhere in the world. Now it backed for 25,000, if I'm correct, dollars in 40 days. That's what it wanted. And it's in just less than 12 hours, it got $300,000 by more than 600 people who have backed this project, including me, one of them. I was 300% to back the astrophotography kit. I will tell you pretty soon what 4 deliveries they are basically offering right now. That is what the craze of this product is, because this was the segment missing. There was either 2 high-end products for astral photography or the star tracking, things like that, which didn't flow down too well in the consumer market or the prosumers who are into this hobby. This is the product that bridges that gap, and that is the reason it's very important, and that's the reason so many people have bagged it immediately. They have 39 more days to go. Questions like, can it handle a 200 to 600 mm or a 150 to 600 mm Sigma lenses? Or questions like, can it work without power supply? What if the power goes out? Can this work as a normal ball head? Or questions like, what are the limits of this product? Well, I will tell you straight from the very beginning, all of those questions will be answered. Again, none of the photographers have this product right now. It will be available after July. It will be dispatched from July onwards. So let's start this video. Now this is going to be a big detailed video, so grab a cup of coffee, and if you have all these questions, you will be answered pretty soon. And I have been using Benro's tripod, the one this camera is mounting on. It's a carbon fiber tripod, an ultralight travel tripod, and it's working so far amazing. It has been more than 1.5 years. Yeah, close to 1.5 years, and it's working so far amazing. But those of you who do not know, Benro is a well-known, established brand when it comes to tripods, ball and gimbal heads. Now hear me out and try to grasp how much of an endless possibilities this setup can provide when powered with your camera. Think of it as a camera on a gimbal. So this is DJI's Osmo Pocket, and it was first of its kind. And the special thing about this is it has a camera, a screen, and the camera is mounted on a gimbal. Now this small camera, which is controlled by an app if you want it, it can move in whatever way, direction and speed you want. Plus, it allows you to see the result, edit and share ASAP. Now imagine this is a small setup magnified to many times, put on top of an actual gimbal. I mean, bigger than this. This is just again a travel gimbal. I have the bigger ones at the other place. And that setup has its own brains, meaning it's powered by ARM processor and it's running Linux operating system, coming with its own artificial intelligence and a bunch of sensors that track Earth's rotation to 0.01 degrees. Imagine all of that. This is just the gist of what Benro Polaris can do. Panoramas, your star tracking, your Milky Way's photographs, or even star trails in a different moving concept. Things like 3x3 or 5x5, bunch of stitching all those panoramas together. Time lapses, the moving ones where it's moving along X and Y axis, things like that, bunch of possibilities. All that in that particular self-powered, artificially intelligent enabled, what should I say, ball head? No, it's not a ball head. It's a digital, motorized, controlled camera head. And the best part is, it allows you to do all of that automatically, or if you want, you can go the whole full manual route and do it on your own at your own pace. And if you want it automatically, it can deliver the results on your mobile app instantly, so you can edit or even share it instantaneously on social media platforms. It can be used by people who are into media, who need immediate results but from a distance. So this device is more of a run and gun situation, a device which can speed up your whole workflow or even give you full manual control, and it has all a person can think of. Whether he's an astrophotographer, she's a day-to-day landscape photographer, videographer, time-lapse, whatever the person is into. And guys, if you're liking it so far, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and ask your questions if you don't reach by the end of this video. Let's continue. So this Benro Polaris is more of a photography device than it's a video. Eventually those photographs do turn up to become a video, considering they are time lapses and whatever. But I will tell you pretty soon how you can use this in a creative ways for just straightforward video work too. I will go more in depth about its spec. So it comes with a GPS, a compass, accelerometer and a gyro sensor, and it has astro maps into its own storage AI mapping, so that all of this helps to precisely prevent the trailing of the streaks, the stars. So this is what I was talking to you about, that it can track the Earth's rotation to 0.01 degrees, meaning you will not get the star trails, and the lowest you can go is 2.5 seconds and you will still get the results. So in their own terms, this feature will allow you to capture perfectly shots of Milky Way or your favorite constellations. So there are basically 4 kits. The basic one, which offers the panorama things, your normal basic stuff which you can think of from a 2-axis moving ball head. All of those features along with everything inside, like the intelligent AI, everything is there. Then the second is $100 more, which is the Astro Kit, where you get another base plate, I should say, which provides you a 3rd axis of movement for those astral photography. Then there is a 3rd variant which has a SIM card slot so that it can have its own data storage and you can operate it from miles away. And finally, the Pro model, which has all of the above, the previous items, and then a battery pack so that it can charge your camera and the, what should I call it, the intelligent ball head itself. Okay, so quickly let me go through the specs and tell you more about it. So this weighs 1.1 kg, which is not too light, but then considering what's coming next, you will understand pretty soon why. The dimensions are 148 by 149 by 93 mm, so not too small, it's like this big and this thick. And then the tripod mount interface is 3 by 8 inch screw mount. There is 1/4 inch screw mount adapter included. Camera mounting interface is quick release. Waterproofing is there for IPX6 rating. And then the materials used are all the premium aluminum alloy, stainless steel, rubber, things like that. Then the electrical specs. The capacity of its battery is 10,000 mAh, 3.7 volt. It's like a power bank, and that's why it can run for 3 days. How? Well, I will tell you pretty soon, but the normal full-on working conditions are somewhere around less than 24 hours. I think it was somewhere around 18 hours I read. Type is lithium ion, charging time is 2.5 hours, pretty good on charging times. Then voltage is 5912, fine. Charging port is USB 3.1, power delivery 3.0. What is that PD? Power delivery. Wi-Fi. It has Wi-Fi obviously because it's an intelligent device. It has Wi-Fi 802.11g AC. Good specs, pretty fast. Bluetooth 5.1. Again, latest specs. Port is Type C into 2, meaning there would be 2 Type C ports. Now the tilt range is from 90 degrees to minus 60 degrees. Pan range is obviously limitless because it's a 360 degree orientation, and then the maximum rotation speed is 20 degrees per second, I think, to 60 degrees per second. Angle accuracy is 0.01, which I told you earlier that that's the minimum it can track through. Load capacity 7 kilogram, and that is the important question which I asked them, because this whole setup would be somewhere around 3 kgs. Your setup can be 4 or 5 kgs. So that's a specific question which I asked them, and I will tell you pretty soon what they answer. And the torsion is 70 kilogram force per centimeter. So all those scientists out there, start doing the calculation, see if your gear fits it. Packing details, meaning what all accessories you will get. So there is a quick release plate, there is L bracket, good, there is a 1/4 inch adapter, there are 2 of them. Protective case, charging cable, Type C camera control, micro USB camera control cable, and a manual. That's all when it comes to what all things it comes with and what are the specs. So in terms of a spec, you might be thinking, is it really a ball head replacement, or is it something more of a intelligent computer and ARM device? So it is intelligent, it has got its own artificial intelligence, and let me now talk to you about its further specs which assist you in a way to do all these things. So it has GPS, compass, accelerometer, and gyro sensor, and a Hall sensor, which basically helps you for those precise tracking and those star tracking, and that's the reason it can align itself based on you don't need to do that true north or true south stars. You don't need to do all those stuff. It will automatically assign itself, and it has a bunch of constellations stars inbuilt. Now this is not just an astro device. I will tell you from the very beginning, it can be used for many things, but a lot of astrophotographers aspire to own something like this, and now it's out, or probably it will be out soon. Now Polaris app uses artificial intelligence and the sensors in your mobile phones to basically do all that framing, and that is how you can use it pretty quickly using your mobile's app as an interface. Now it says just point your mobile phone in any direction and start shooting, because it has a pre-built database of all the stars constellations. Too much excitement. Now it says point your mobile phone in any direction and just start shooting, because it has its own database of stars constellations, which makes it your life simpler. Now, another important aspect is that you can preview your shot before it's actually happening, meaning that let's say there is a sunrise happening or there is a moon's movement, you want to place your or frame your shot in such a way. So this app will kind of simulate, okay, the sun will be at this particular position if you start dragging your mobile phone, so that you can basically pull up your shot and do all the framing, considering, okay, at 7:30 the sun will be approx at this location. So that is what they say, that preview your shot, which is being done as of today also by many of the apps. Now, another very important aspect is focus stacking. So considering in today's world we use a lot of fast lenses or telephoto lenses, so a lot of our subjects are at different focal plane, meaning something which is at focus will be sharp and the objects behind and the objects before will not be sharp. So what it does is it intelligently kinds of moves the focus plane at several segments, so that either you can select the whole focus later point of time that, okay, I don't want focus here, I want focus a bit back, or it creates a sharp shot throughout, so that almost all the objects throughout that visible range will be in focus, which is the focus stacking. basically clicking different pictures at different segments and then stacking them to create one perfect picture of everything in focus. This is used a lot in macro photography. How we are going to use that in normal day-to-day use? It's pretty obvious because there are a lot of objects and it will intelligently do that for you. You don't have to go on Photoshop and do all those painting of specific segments which you want to keep or remove. Again, your raw images will be there in camera. I think I forgot to say that, so you can do that on your own too. Now, another important aspect is enhanced exposure, meaning it will keep on clicking until it gets perfect exposure on all the segments of a picture. Again, uses AI, so that is something if you want that. Now coming to a time lapse, and then there are bunch of information and usage where it provides a feature, so it's a lot of things. We all know how the time lapse works. Now it's thunder. Okay, 1 AM and it's thunder, rain, everything, but let's continue. So basically what it does is it gives you that 3D depth in your time lapse, because your time lapse are in both the axes you are moving, and when something is not just static, it's moving, people get a more depth to it, people get a more appeal, a more dynamic nature, and it feels a bit more appealing. It looks a lot of work went into it, and these small devices are perfectly capable. In fact, this gimbal, if you mount your camera or even the bigger gimbals, they can do that too, and so can this, but this saves you that hassle of carrying extra devices, as it's a ball at where you mount your camera device, and you can use that for a time lapse with moving X and Y axis. I don't know if I should call it X and Y, but yeah, in those two axes, so you can use that. This is one of the best feature they are kind of targeting, because you can map those custom waypoints where you want to, how you want to use that time lapse. Now hear me out, this is pretty important. Polaris can even adjust time-lapse settings during capture to ensure that time-lapse comes out exactly as you hoped it, and at the same time dial in your ISO, aperture, shutter speed, and your focal length from anywhere. During the capture of time-lapses, you can freely set the keyframes of a time-lapse video to highlight the subject by changing the ramping up or slowing down speed, meaning when the time-lapse is actually happening, I mean pretty much so far what I've seen, you cannot edit your changes or your time lapse is kind of screwed up, but here you can customize those settings while the time lapse is being captured, so that the rest of the time lapse either improves, because you might have noticed that okay, the light went completely away or something drastic change in the environment condition, you want to dial down your settings or try to do something different, it can do that. Now there is a fully automatic panorama 3x3 which I have seen so far from the specs, meaning it will kind of use its AI to balance out the exposure in each segment and stitch it together. Pretty cool. Now let's talk about some of the manual features. So there are these programming functions. So this is a device which is running on Linux, meaning it has a scope of being upgraded throughout its lifetime, and if they decided to expose the APIs to like third-party developers, they can create even new features too. Now some of those features are like you can control this head using your waypoints from your mobile phones, and you can control it from a distance because it has an option. If you want to go for a higher end segment, there is a SIM card availability, meaning you don't have to be just next to it, you can control it from miles away. Then it comes in very handy in cases like, let's say you are in the middle of a jungle and then there are birds and animals which are not too happy of you being around it or me being around it. I can control it from pretty far away, and it's just a hidden camera somewhere, or just this big telephoto lens hidden somewhere, which is moving very making very little, what should I say, you understand the gist of it, right? That from the minimal presence in the wilderness, you can capture that shot without putting yourself or the other animals and the birds at risk. That is one use case. There can be others. There can be this whole setup placed at some extreme case and you are monitoring from a distance. It can come in use for geological places or even for news reporters. They just place up their setup and go far away, and then they can report everything from far away. So these are some of the features, and there are more which can be upgraded based on if they release their APIs, which I think they will, or probably they will keep on supporting. Now it's a weather resistant with IPX6, meaning it can handle some pretty much drizzle which is about to happen here. Right now, exactly where I'm sitting, this place, and it can handle pretty much strong winds, so that little bit of dust and water resistance is there. Okay, now let's talk about video features, how you can use that specifically for capturing videos rather than just clicking photos and stacking up later or creating a time lapse sort of it. See, it's eventually a tripod head which mounts your camera. It has 2-axis control with motors, meaning you can dial down that knob. Now let me tell you more about that knob. So it has a gear brushless motor system, meaning there are probably very small gears which lock your whole system in place, and the motors are brushless, which improves their life expectancy. And you can dial down that knob, which you can see in the videos too. Whenever it's moving, the knob is also moving, so you can even control that knob and your camera will move. If you want to reduce the jitters, you can control that from your app, meaning you can create a smooth panning motion or upside down or whatever angle you want to pan it around. And then it has its artificial intelligence. So what I have read from the comments and questions, Benro does support tracking of their faces, meaning it can track me if I'm just walking casually around doing some kind of tutorial or video or even a vlog. It can track my face and I can move around, which is pretty crazy, and it can do that because of its artificial intelligence and Linux and ARM and everything. That is a pretty neat feature it can do. So in short, what I'm saying is that you can use it as a video small panning device if you don't have your fluid head around, and you can use it for those landscapes by making those small adjustments and panning it across the frame. So there are a bunch of possibilities which we can think of. It's just open to our own, imagination. Okay, so now what are the 2 questions which I asked them, and they were pretty quick to answer them. The first one was, first of all, I congratulated them because it is a pretty, groundbreaking system which was kind of absent in the market, and it bridges that gap. So the first question which I asked, which a lot of you might have, will it support heavier lenses like Sigma 150 to 600 or the Sony 200 to 600 mm, making the whole weight of the combination around 5 to 6 kilograms? So they said yes, considering you balance out whole center of gravity thingy at the midpoint, it should do that. So I think 4 to 5 kgs is pretty safe to consider. Beyond that, I don't think so it would give the best performance. Again, let it get released and we will see, but it can probably support this system based on their answers. My second question was, can this head be used as a normal ball head? I mean, will it work if the battery gets over or we decide to use it without its electronic capabilities? Are there any friction control or any locks? This saves an extra ball head. So to that, they said that yes, you can use it as a normal head, just adjust the angles manually by using the 2 physical knobs. Note that the knobs are fixed by gear instead of friction. This can be a deal breaker for few people who want even more minute adjustment they do. Okay, so somewhere in the middle the memory card got filled up and I was just speaking. That's the issue with the not having front facing screen, the swivel screens. So what I was saying was that this might be issue for some of the people who want even more minute adjustment, because this comes with the gear tooth. So that is something to mind. Now I'm placing some of the start tracking slides. How, if you want to know more in detail how it does that, you can pause and read. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You can scroll down their section to understand more on the questions which other people had. I'm pretty sure your questions will be answered too. And this is how this whole concept works. So they thought about this concept in 2019. They spent 2020 in kind of designing everything, manufacturing at small scale, and then optimizing, creating app, and finally coming up with a prototype, a functional prototype in 2021. 2021's Feb, which is now, is when they launch their Kickstarter project. March, they will start with the pilot run and ask people where to deliver it. From April, May, June, I think probably that is where they will start doing the mass production. July onwards, they will start delivering. I just want it in India. It just doesn't come with a lot of import duty, because then it will be a bad decision. It might be worth waiting for few more months, like end of 2021. It might be available at your local stores pretty much soon. and you might end up saving a lot on your import duty taxes. So that's all I had for you today, guys. If you like this so far, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe and ask your questions. And if you have any other products, please list them down in the comment section so that other people can benefit with those alternative products too, if there are any. See you again, see you soon. Bye guys.